that when it's up here.
They moved it.
I took it down. I wouldn't forget.
Thank you.
Capital. They're in
Took a
there.
bottle of this afternoon.
I don't know why it was
Still,
showing.
I don't know.
What is it?
It's called Joe Water. Just caffeinated.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
It's awesome.
Still-
You stay hydrated. It's all just the same stuff.
6:30, call the meeting to order. Ask the clerk to take roll.
Mordini,
Here.
Sarchet, Lane,
Here.
Anderson.
Here.
First item on the agenda is approval of the agenda. I have no additions or corrections. I take a motion.
So moved.
Second. Roll call.
Mordini,
Yes.
Sarchet,
Yes.
Lane,
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Motion carries. Next item is presentation of ESGR Freedom Award to the Polk City Fire Department. I'll pass the floor off to you, sir.
Thank you. Well, let me, I'll set it up here. With your indulgence, let me just take a couple seconds to set this up. First, let me introduce myself. My name is Jim Freeze. I'm a 31-year veteran of the Iowa National Guard. But tonight I'm representing ESGR, Employer Support of the Guard and Reserve, which is the office within the United States Department of Defense. You may not be aware of this, but the active duty military, their success depends on the success of the National Guard and Reserve. And success of the National Guard and Reserve depend on employers providing good support for their employees who are members of a reserve component. Part of ESGR's mission is to recognize those employers who provide this type of outstanding support, which brings us here tonight. So if you don't mind, Dan and Ken, do you mind joining me? Front and center?
Right now.
Well, Dan, you were nominated by Ken for the prestigious Freedom Award. It's the highest award we have in ESGR. It's a national award. It's given out one time a year. Like I say, it is the biggest award we have for employers providing support for their members who are a reserve component. Now, the downside is the fire department did not get the award this year. There's only one award given out. But the upside is, which I think is a pretty big upside, is that the fire department met the eligibility criteria to even meet this award. I mean, that is big. And if you ask me, the other big thing is that you have employees like Ken and some others who think enough of your support you provide that they would go through the time and effort to submit you for this award. So if you ask me, that's big. So I want to thank you for that type of support for Ken and the members of the Reserve and then all your employees. So that's really big. Also, while I have the floor, let me thank Ken for his service to this great country. You may not be aware of this also, but Ken is a part-time soldier. He's required to meet the same type of standards as his active duty counterparts in the active military army. Same standards as far as qualifications in his military occupational specialty, same standards as far as professional military education, and same standards as far as physical fitness. And I'm telling you, I speak from experience, so that ain't easy to do. So, I also want to thank you for recognizing the important role that Dan and the fire department play in the success of your military career. So, really good on you. So, with that, it is my honor as representative of the National and Iowa Committees for ESGR to present this plaque, which commemorates your nomination for the prestigious Freedom Award for the Polk City Fire Department. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
One, two, three. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it a lot. Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Next item on the agenda is public comments. This is the time and place for any comments on anything else that's not on a public hearing. Anybody have anything to address council on? Hearing none, seeing none. Moving on to item 6, consent agenda. I would take a motion.
Move to approve consent agenda. Second.
Roll call, please.
Sarchet,
Yes.
Lane,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Mordini.
Motion carries. I would take a quick second to recognize a certain person that has resigned from the fire department. Councilman Rob Sargent, he did have a lot of time in the fire department, and so I know that does hurt to lose
11
members.
years.
Yeah, 11 years. It does hurt to lose members, and so we do appreciate your time on the fire department as well as your time up here too. So, yeah. Next item is new business. Under new business, action item 1, agreement for public or private development. This is the time to close regular meeting and open the public hearing on the proposed agreement for private development with Deer Haven Land Company, LLC. I'll ask the clerk when the notice is published.
August 4th.
Any written comments for or against?
No, sir.
Ask staff to provide a report.
Thank you, Mayor. This proposed agreement before you tonight is in Deer Haven, but the services that they will be providing in Deer Haven, which is an increase in the sanitary sewer size, increase in the storm water size, directly will affect what we commonly refer to as the original town. They will be bringing in a bike trail that, with the trails that will be constructed with crossroads at the lake, you'll actually be able to go from Bridge Road to the downtown on a bike trail, which is something that has been on the bucket list of the City Council for quite some time. We are improving the roads. We're getting some curb and gutter in the areas that are the transitory pieces of road that go from the original town into the new subdivision. All this is covered by this private development agreement through a tax increment financing mechanism. It is solely bore by that area. Council will recall that we set up a urban renewal area earlier this year specifically for this area. So as the taxable valuations increase in that area, it will pay back the TIF as a rebate to the developer.
Any questions for the hearing?
There you go.
Yes.
Do you know when the electricity's gonna go in out there? We've been waiting for 2 years to build out there.
When is it going to be built?
When is the electricity gonna go in? We were told we would be able to start building 9/1, but with no electricity,
I can't tell you that part of it because that's solely under the developer. What we're doing is we ask the developer to increase certain sizes of water mains, certain sizes of sanitary sewer and that type of thing to help benefit problems that we had in the original town. I really don't know. I would expect streets got to go in first, and once streets go in, the next thing that goes in are the public utilities.
oh no, thank you.
Sorry.
It's been approved on our side for at least a year for them to do so.
You did? Oh,
Got the same questions, not as directly as you do, but from people that have been waiting to go in there, so.
and I think we've heard similar things, that it was going to be 2 weeks, and
I've heard the same thing.
Yeah.
You're not alone.
yeah. And Mike, I know you and I spoke on another issue down there, which I appreciate you jumping on, by the way. Have you heard anything more on your end, at least when you were down there kind of poking around?
As far as the
Anything, have
timing
you
of
seen
it,
anything going on down there as far as that would lead you to believe that we're getting closer?
yeah, I mean, the subgrade is getting packed. We had a pre-pour meeting last Friday that said that they would like to start this week, weather permitting, and there are a few shots of rain, but I think the best thing that's happened is the paving machine and the planer are both down there. So that's a good thing. They usually won't leave once they get here.
Right.
So that's a good sign.
Thank you.
Soon.
Heard that before, have you?
Yeah, for 2 years.
Anyone else who wishes to be heard for or against proposed agreement for this? Hearing none or seeing none, I need a motion to close the public hearing and reopen the regular meeting.
Second.
Roll call.
Lane,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Mordini,
Yes.
Sarchet.
Motion carries. Item B, consider motion to approve Resolution 2017-82, approving the proposed agreement for private development with Deer Haven Land Company, LLC. Take a motion.
Move to approve resolution 2017-82. Second.
Roll call.
Anderson,
Yes.
Mordini,
Yes.
Sarchet.
Yes.
Lane.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 2, Jeff Walters, DART Commission Representative, future funding discussion update. As part of your consent agenda, you guys did officially approve Mr. Walters as an alternate to the DART Commission, and he was willing and ready and able to go to the meeting a couple weeks ago, and I do appreciate his presence in my absence. So, Jeff, the floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor, for letting me go down there. It was a lot of fun. No,
I tried to really roll out the red mat here for you, buddy.
Not the carpet.
the mat, yeah. No, I appreciate being appointed to this position. I do enjoy serving the community like this. On July 27, 2017, I attended the Des Moines Transit Funding Study Workshop number 1. DART Commission introduced the consultant HNTB, who will be providing, who will be completing the study for this, for DART. Their purpose, and I had to take notes because they were firing things at us pretty quick. Their purpose was to evaluate potential program scenarios and funding sources for the Des Moines Metro. And the function of the group, which I'm participating in, will be to provide feedback to assumptions and sensitivity to issues through a financial task force lens, as well as prioritize desired outcomes of the study, including but not limited to mobility, environmental, and ridership. And after HNTB had their 10-minute presentation, it was kind of a free-for-all with various members at the table. A couple of the highlights that really made me stand up or sit up straight in my seat. At the current operation level, DART will run out of money by 2021. And that's really about all I got out of it. I think where you guys stand right now, where we stand together as a community, potentially leading DART might be the best scenario, although I think it's good that we stay in for another year like you guys had voted on a couple weeks ago, to make sure that DART does have the priorities in place and to make sure that us leading DART is the right decision. They had a couple other interesting comments. HNTV did. Their thoughts possibly making this less a community-oriented service and maybe privatize it. They talked about utilizing Uber, Lyft, or other private resources. They also talked about additional funding sources that could help communities and DART pay for their service. They mentioned increased property tax, change in vehicle taxes, an additional parking tax, income and payroll income tax, which is currently not allowed by the state. It would take the legislative change for that. And also a concern was a change in lost. I think we should probably be very concerned about changes in local option sales tax with something that's going to be table like that. So if you guys have any questions for me, I can certainly try to answer them. Like I said, there was an hour and a half, 2 hours of a lot of banter and really not a lot of focus on the study at hand.
Well, to go another step further than that, Jeff and I are going to be getting together with Elizabeth here in the next couple of weeks, I think, is the game plan. We're going to sit down and have some further conversations, as well as the governance committee as that gets up and going, and obviously they're interested in our involvement. And it's interesting to get your take on this, maybe compared to what I read in the business record or in the register after that. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens with this. I guess if anybody else has comments, I thank you again for going. Truly, I mean that.
Well, yeah, I'd like to thank you for spending 90 minutes of your life down there. As you know, I mean, it has, I don't, at least from my part, and I think probably speaking for most of us up here, I don't think it's served Polk City well for what we put into it. What worries me is what you just mentioned. If they are going to try and find a way to weasel around taxing residences more to supplement Des Moines' income for this bus, to me, just push harder. I don't think they're getting the message that the problem isn't with the idea of it, it's the problem how they're implementing it. The ridership's not there because it's not being offered up here. I think them pushing for a tax would be a kiss of death for many other communities to possibly drop it as well. I don't know how we can take that back, but I just don't think they're hearing anybody but Des Moines.
And it's important for all the communities to be at the table to make sure that we listen and see where they're going to go, and hopefully we can, and no pun intended, steer them in the right direction. But this first meeting just was not as optimistic as I think people were really hoping for.
Well, and you got that many communities all coming to the same table.
It's definitely a challenge.
Yeah.
I think if they were to listen to the smaller communities, being anybody but the one big one, the answers are right in front of them. They just don't want to hear them, in my opinion. But I know that's just an opinion.
Well, hopefully the workshops, the charrettes, and this study will coincide with their 2030 plan.
Trying to remember how many of these meetings are there? 4? 3 or 4? I can't remember.
Or open house.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jeff.
We need to
Yeah.
continue.
Oh, yeah.
Better having you there. It all boils down to what service are they providing us, and still to this day, through multiple attempts, have never been able to answer how many times for an on-call service are we actually getting, and a paid on-call service on top of the property taxes. So
To be clear, they gave us numbers
with other communities.
Yeah.
So
and an estimate that follows that was
if that
inflated.
helped their case, we would know what it is. And it's never been answered. So thanks for going.
You're welcome.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Definitely the best man for the job.
And you know what? I'd like to also note that he did volunteer after the last meeting, after a few people that shall remain nameless didn't step up to the plate. So, anyway, item 3. Consider motion to approve resolution 2017-80, approving pay app number 2 in the amount of $56,807 for the police station remodel. Questions, comments, or motion?
Is 2 scheduled, how many?
There'll be at least 3 more.
Okay.
You'll have one probably for the month of August, probably one in September, a sub-final, and a final, maybe 4.
Make a motion to approve resolution 2017-80.
Second. Roll call, please.
Mordini,
Yes.
Sarchet,
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 4, purchase water capacity. Item A, consider motion to approve resolution. Do you want to speak to this
Yes,
first?
I'm gonna
Okay,
take
sorry,
all
let's
3
start with
steps.
number 4.
Okay, I'm going to take all 3 steps here first.
Okay.
Polk City was successful in submitting a bid for the Berwick Water Association's 250,000 gallons of excess capacity. They call it excess capacity, or we call it needed capacity. The first resolution approves the purchase of the 250,000 gallons, and the bid that was put in was $3, 1.8 cents. Resolution thereafter is a resolution that will allow us, but not lock us in, but will allow us within the next 18 months to officially say that this, with other water improvements, will be on a GO or revenue bond. So that allows that mechanism. If we did not have that, you could not go back and reimburse yourself with bond revenues. Item C is then the agreement with the Des Moines Waterworks that authorizes, it really solidifies everything that's here and moves it from Berwick to Polk City, at which time that will then go on to their August 22nd Des Moines Waterworks Board for approval. Yep, so that's, you got 3 steps
Yep.
going here, and item C authorizes Lindsay as your Assistant City Administrator and Finance Officer and I to sign the documents.
You make this sound like it's no big deal, but at the end of the day, there were a lot of time that was put in by you and Mike and Lindsay to make this happen. And I know when we found out the other day about it, and I talked to you, I think I needed you to pull over to the side of the road so you didn't, crash. But this is a big deal, and I know you said that to me, and you couldn't have been more thrilled, and you were more thrilled, and as were you. And so staff did an excellent job pushing this through, figuring out the right number because it was close. And so coming up with that number was a good job by all of you, and this is a big, big deal, and I really appreciate staff's time in all of this. So unless anybody else has anything else, I'll move on, Dave.
Well, I echo a lot of that. I agree with all of that, I should say, and nice work by and Mike and everybody. So this new capacity level gets us, and I know we've crushed expectations to this point, but is there any reasonable expectation of we are covered with our usage with this new capacity for another, how long?
We're not. In the summertime,
Still
we're using over that, yeah. In the winter, yes. So, but there's times where we're using over that, and it'll just progressively get, more and more as population grows. So, if there's other opportunities, we need to look at it, but there's no opportunities like this one that just, I think this is the last one, right,
Yeah.
Gary?
The last one that's known at this time.
Yeah.
Now, they could make better efficiencies, build other plants, and turn around and offer capacity.
Not at this price.
That's not any short-term, on any short-term plans at this time.
Okay. Item 8, consider motion to approve a resolution 2017-83 approving the purchase of water capacity in the amount of 250,000 gallons from Berwick Water Association. Take a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Sarchet,
Yes.
Blaine,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Mordini.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item B, consider motion to approve resolution 2017-81 declaring an official intent under Treasury Regulation 1.150-2 to issue debt and reimburse the city for certain original expenditures paid in connection with specified projects. Take a motion.
Second.
Roll call.
Blaine,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Mordini.
Yes.
Sarchet.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item C, consider motion to approve resolution 2017-84 agreement with Des Moines Waterworks authorizing the execution of agreement for assignment and sale of purchase capacity and supplement number 1 to adoption annex. Take a motion.
So moved.
Set.
Second.
Okay. Roll call.
Sarchet.
Yes.
Blaine,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Mordini.
Yes.
Motion carries. Good job, guys. Item 8, Mayor's Report. I do have something that I'm going to give Trace a little credit for here shortly. But so about 3 years ago, North Polk Schools canceled out of their contract with Polk County Sheriff's Office and went with NPI Security. It was done in the summertime. A lot of parents in the community didn't know about it. However, the first person that did find out about it was Supervisor Bob Brownell, who called me, and I would say every time that we had a phone call, a lunch, or a meeting, the conversation around North Polk came up, and trying to find a way to get Polk County back in there. And we worked at it, and we had conversations, and we had meetings about it, and it kind of went nowhere over the last couple of years. When Trace was hired, It was one of the early conversations that he and I had about what I felt as a parent in the district, but also as Mayor of Polk City, the importance of having Polk County Sheriff at North Polk schools. And we had more meetings between ourselves independently in this group, and then we brought in Dan Mart, and I had some conversations with him over the past couple of years. And due to an improved relationship, I think, between Polk City and North Polk, myself and Dan, our relationship with Polk County, the excellent job that Trace is doing, but most importantly, the connections that he has at the sheriff's office. We were able to bring the whole group together and met on it, and we had some tough words that came out regarding kind of how all of that went down a few years ago, but at the end of the day, we wanted to be a part of it. Although we're not part of an agreement between the schools and Polk County, we wanted to be part of it, and Trace was interested in the safety of our kids, but in working with North Polk to find a way. And at the end of the day, I had a phone call from Mr. Brownell 2 weeks ago. He had just left Ullman, and they are signing into a 5-year agreement with Polk County Sheriffs and bringing them back into North Polk schools. So as a parent, I'm absolutely thrilled. As mayor, I'm absolutely tickled. Trace deserves a great deal of credit for pulling some people together, and I thank you up and down for making that happen. North Polk is going to take official action on it this week. The Board of Supervisors is also taking action on it this week, and I think that this is going to help to further solidify the relationships between North Polk and Polk City. So Trace, thanks for all your help on that. I don't know if you have anything to add.
Just that we're going to partner with them. We're not part of the official contract. We do have a 20D agreement with the county, so approximately once a week, I'll have one of our officers, it's the same officer, assigned to, and they will go up and spend an hour or two at the high school and liaison with the assigned SRO, trade intelligence on what's going on with the children up there and the kids, young adults that live here in Polk City as well, and also give our residents and their children the opportunity to see that we do have a Polk City officer in the school on a regular basis to enhance our abilities to work with the school resource officer and the school district to keep our kids up there in a safer environment there and in Polk City and in between. So that's really our goal. So we'll be involved. We're not in the contract officially in any way, but we will. I volunteered that with the mayor's approval to partner with Polk County and to make us more effective in that relationship.
And it was definitely a gentleman's agreement that we had, but one that I know will work out. And I thank Dan Mart for his work on this. I thank Bob Runnell for his work on this, and you and everybody at the sheriff's office too, because this wasn't easy. This was a long one. This was a long one. I tell you, over the last, I'm not sure what Bob and I are going to talk about next time, because I think that's all we've talked about the last 3 years. But, anyway, thank you, Trace. I really appreciate it. With that, that's really all I have tonight, Mr. Sargent.
Congratulations to Dan and Ken. That's a really cool award, and didn't want to be the undercard for the FD news, because it was, Dan and I had a lot of conversations. It was tough to leave, but happy for that group, as well evidenced by the award that they got today. So I want to thank him personally for the last almost 11 years. It meant a lot to me. And the only other thing, last Monday we had a neighborhood citizens group meeting, and I think that group is evolving and sort of hitting our stride a little bit. And I want to thank Gary for, I could only attend the first half, but I think that group is developing, and my hope that they would further supplement the neighborhood connectivity in different spots is kind of coming through. So they had some good information, and Gary got to give them the direct spiel on the water, and so that was good to get out there, and appreciate the volunteers on that committee. That's all I have.
Mr. Lane.
Well, I want to also congratulate the fire department on that, and I also want to congratulate all of the staff on the move of getting the Berwick water supplies capacity As everybody knows, whenever we're doing a priorities meeting, I never fail to mention that we'll have to keep our eyes out for additional capacity. The reason is I'm firmly convinced that having this additional capacity with Des Moines Waterworks and years ago when we joined the WRA are two of the most important things that this group of people could have ever done for the viability of this town. That's how important this is. So I want to thank you all again for all of your efforts on that. The other thing is I'm wondering what happened to we used to get shirts on a regular basis. The last time I got a shirt was before Charlotte left. I don't know whatever happened to that. I noticed there's new clothes and stuff coming almost on a monthly basis from P&M, but where it's going is not to any of us.
Public Works has got.
I'm just throwing that out there. So, Julie knows. That's it.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes, I have nothing but praise for those of you that worked so hard to get that resource officer back into school. This is something that's been needed for a long time. I'm happy that that's happened. The water thing is essential. Everybody can pat themselves on the back for that because it's something that's sorely needed, and even though it might not be appreciated, it would certainly be noticed when it was gone. So I have praise for that. And on a happier note, I heard from some more citizens about abandoned houses in Polk City and about what's being done. And one in particular where the neighbors are keeping it mowed up and it's been empty for 5 years, and they didn't want to complain and didn't want to come forward. And I said I'd just make a general statement and see if I can find out where we're at and what can be done about it.
I'm just scratching that off my list. That was my list.
Sorry. That's all I have. Just want to know some feedback I can take to these people, because they're wanting to keep a low profile about it, and they are taking turns keeping the yard mowed and.
Probably need addresses, and can we get some of that?
Sure.
Because I know
Addresses in detail,
Yeah.
because I'm not aware of anything.
as we know, it's challenging.
Probably need to stop mowing it because until there's a weed violation, we really got nothing we can do about it. As long as it's being kept up, we have no ordinance that we can go after anybody.
That's
To my knowledge.
That's easy to say if you don't live next door to it.
Yeah. I know.
But I'll have some feedback for them, and
Yes, and I will. We'll take it through the process.
okay. That's all I have.
Perfect. Rob?
Well, because Ron hit the nail right on the head on one of them. To save time, we'll just echo everything that's already been said because I agree with all the comments that we've already made. I'd just like to piggyback on a couple other things we already had here tonight. First off, I'd like to thank Councilman Sarchep for his service. I think volunteers in this community or any other for that matter is probably the unsung heroes and the ones that never get enough credit, in my opinion. So I'd like to thank you for all your service. I'd also like to thank Mr. Walters for being a chosen or volunteering representative for Polk City. That's not an easy one to fill right now, given everything that's going on. And I know I probably speak for all of us when I say it's nice to have somebody that has the knowledge behind it based on the past experience, and also is very up to date on what's been going on lately since he's been to meetings forever. And that's something you just can't replace with a half-hour talk between two people. So it's good to have somebody with that knowledge on that committee.
City Administrator Polk?
Thank you, Mayor. First off, congratulations to you, Dan. That's quite an award, and it says a lot about your operation. Just a couple updates, if you will. Between Snyder staff and city staff, we have applied for a traffic signalization on 3rd and Bridge. What we've applied for is 2 different grants on that, traffic safety funds and the U-Step program. We're hopeful on both of those. Staff was, additional is we've also put traffic safety funds application together for 2 crosswalks, 3rd and South Side and 3rd and Van Dorn, in an effort to save some money in the budget. ICAP has a grant every year, and we're going through the help of Trace and Daniel, going through and helping to pay for the new security camera system that will be put into police station. It'll be $1,000. That should be coming from ICAP in that regard. And last but not least, Mid-American Energy. If you haven't been on 44th Street lately, their work has started on the dirt moving for the substation. It's a substation that's solely going to serve the Polk City and Polk City area, a very important development needed for a long time. And work is underway already.
I can't remember if it was in your memo. Is there any time frame on?
I do not have a time frame, sir.
Okay.
I don't think they have their transmission line, their distribution.
They
The
gotta
transmission
get-
line's approved yet. They just filed the petition on that within the last month. And there's
That's
some
gonna take a
opposition,
while.
I know, to the proposed route, so.
I did have a call from the resident up there. He's being modest again, but this traffic signalization out there at 3rd and Bridge, everybody's really doing a good job of keeping their foot on the gas on that one and fast tracking that through, and the potential savings that are going to come through both the U-Step money and the other one.
Traffic
safety is going to save us a whole bunch of money, if not all of it. So good job out of you guys for moving on that.
Thank you.
Yep. Attorney's report, engineer's report, public works,
Nothing this time.
technology,
No.
finance. What did you do? I know you don't want to talk, but you did something that was good, and I think it needs to be noted.
We renewed a CD. It's going to be at a rate of 1.4 instead of 1, which will generate the city an additional $4,000.
And that was because all you did was just make a phone call, right? Good job. I think that was worth noting, even though you didn't want to put it in your memo, so I appreciate your work on that. Sorry it took me a week to come in and sign the paperwork. Fire department
How much
report.
did that cost us?
Yeah. Knock it off. No. Fire department report.
I hate to give Rob any more kudos than he's already got.
Yeah, no doubt.
I do want to thank Rob for his service. Obviously, losing someone with almost 11 years of service is a tough hit, but we've had a lot of conversations over the last couple of months, and I think Rob has found his drive where he's at, and so I know his time is well spent here. So we appreciate the service of the fire department.
And congratulations as well. Police department?
Just want to let you guys know the police report, the actual written one, will be at the next council meeting. Lieutenant Sipper was at training last week, and we just didn't get together to finalize it. That'll be at the next one. And then just wanted to publicly thank everybody that participated in our National Night Out. We had approximately 300 people come through for our first event. That's very significant. I've been involved in other police departments that did their first National Night Out 10 years ago and had maybe 50 people show up the first couple of years. So it was a great turnout, and we've had, just tons is the word over here of positive feedback from the community, people that have told us how much they enjoyed it, their kids enjoyed it. So we're looking at doing the same thing and expanding on it next year. So but I do want to thank everybody. We had a lot of volunteers from the city, from city staff, from businesses, and community members, and donating their time, resources, money to make the event successful. And most of all, Lieutenant Sipper pretty much did it single-handedly as far as organizing it all. And then he got into a class, so he wasn't able to come till halfway through it, so I actually had to set it up.
Oh, you had to work?
Yeah, I had to do something. I did tell Gary that with him.
He said he kind of laid that one out.
I did tell Gary with Lieutenant Sipper gone, I realized how much work he actually did. That's all I have.
That on record. That was a very well done event, by the way. It was nice. When in town, there's a lot of people. It was nice to come over there and see the things. So, anything else?
Nope, I'm good.
Library.
We're just kind of taking a breather here. We finished up summer reading. the end of July, and we had over 300 kids who signed up officially for the program and turned in their weekly reading logs. We had over 800 kids come through our programs. One of the things we're looking at for next year, is we're starting to look at that schedule, is getting all of our activities into the morning so that they're not conflicting with the Parks and Rec. We ran into that a lot this year. And get ready, we have our Eclipse party next Monday at the library. We've been very popular today with people realizing it's a week away and coming to get their Eclipse glasses. So I brought some with me if you need your glasses to go stare at the sun next Monday.
Are those the official ones or the
They
ones?
are
Okay.
official, they are ISO,
All right,
and they have the.
Hearing stories today. I was hearing stories today about that.
We had several people in
Okay.
today whose were recalled by Amazon and
Okay.
came flying in for theirs at the library
All right.
this morning, so.
I don't know.
We just posted a public service.
Oh, okay, okay.
Today, that's why we're all.
Yeah.
It's not one of the news channels.
Not the
It's
fake ones.
Yeah, all right.
We have the real ones.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be bad. Thank you. So are you like actually having a party outside?
You're having a party, they're gonna come in, they can decorate a sun cookie, and we're gonna do some Eclipse programming, and then send them out in the lot with their glasses and
Go stare at the sun.
stare at the sun. The program starts at 12 or 12:30. The Eclipse is supposed to be somewhere between 1 and 1:15, I think. So.
Weather permitting.
Well, yeah, I know.
Lay out with the mayor.
Can I have a motion to adjourn, please?
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you.
Second.
All in favor?
Don't let somebody
No,
else.
I want to get out of here.
It was going down.
It was going downhill.